As a small biz pro, I saw we roll, using procurement, program, and control. As a small biz pro, I saw we grow, using procurement, program, and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah. Crystal Mitchell, do you have my business plan? Just review the pages of my marketing plan. Crystal Mitchell, do you have my business plan? Just review the pages of my marketing plan. Got my capability statement.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Business Zone with
Crystal
and Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic. And Crystal, oh man, it's like I haven't seen you in a long time.
Huh? You were traveling. Well, last week we did a little rerun. We did a little. We gave them a little taste, like we did, like the big shows.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
we had a rerun of a show, which was okay, right?
Yeah,
it was one of our great shows.
That's good. That's good.
And then you
had an event last week, right?
I did.
How did it go?
I did. It was standing room only.
All right.
And it was absolutely awesome. All of the remarks and input from Facebook has been awesome.
That's
so
amazing.
for those of you out there in listener land, I did my very first burlesque showcase last week, and we had a ball. But I want to say this about our instructor. Her name is Katrina Farsi, and her stage name is Fanny Sinclair. I have a new stage name. It's Shimmery Champagne.
All right.
And there's a tagline. I can't remember the tagline right now, so I'll share that as the weeks go on. And so Shimmery Champagne. And so she literally, so there were 7 dancers, and then there was 8 actually, because there was a solo in Los Angeles, and then she had 7 out of the Valley, and then 1 in the Valley came and joined us.
Yeah.
So she literally put together 2 groups and taught us each 3 dances apiece.
That's amazing.
And then in between that, there were some solos.
Yeah.
And she intertwined that. She wrote the production. She directed the production. She edited the production. And then the very first time that we all saw each other was on Thursday of last week.
When you guys were presenting. Right?
Where we were doing the tech, and this is all stage stuff. We were doing the tech and the dress rehearsal, so we had to run through the numbers in our costumes that we all created ourselves.
That's amazing.
And then we were even hearing the soundtrack for the very first time last Thursday.
Oh, man.
And so we did that on Thursday. We rehearsed. We had rehearsal on Sunday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Friday was the run through for the show with everything, the stage, what do you call it, props and everying, and which we were all part of helping set up, and it was awesome. And so the show was at 8:30. So about 8:15, this whole mass of people came in, and
where'd they come from?
We were given 6 to 8 tickets. I think I sold 11, but 6 to 8 tickets, and I bought and gave. So each one in the show actually was responsible for at least a minimum of 6 tickets.
Right.
So we sold that, and it was incredible. It was men and women.
I am glad.
And so it was an awesome experience.
So you're ready for Broadway then,
I'm ready for Broadway. So Gypsy Rose Lee on the set, and not quite Christine Aguilera or Cher in burlesque, but the amateur version of both of them.
I hear that.
And Katrina did such a phenomenal job.
That's great.
And the best thing about the show is that it's women that no matter what size you are, you found the clothing, or you did your costume to what you're accustomed to, and the only thing we were given to her from her was the color scheme. So we did a Mad Hatter routine where I made my little Mad Hatter with my sparklies. It's all sparkly, and then green and so the Mad Hatter is green and purple in Alice in Wonderland. And we had a dance with a chair, a prop with a chair routine, and then we had the two hearts, and so we had a cardboard card with the a letter, a number, and then the hearts, and then we did a routine to that and took off the cardboard. That was our striptease piece,
That is so
and then
great.
we had our flamingo number, and it was awesome. So so make sure next time we'll give you plenty of time.
Definitely.
So we're gonna
be there to support you.
Yeah. So next year for the Christmas party, that we did the annual Christmas ball. So we're getting ready to
You
go.
mean this year?
This year,
okay.
like last year when we did the Christmas ball that you came to. So we're gonna do that, and we're gonna perform for the Christmas ball.
Good.
So
I remember they did a little burlesque thing.
Yeah, they did. So now it'll be
this
the
time
full.
It's gonna be official.
Yeah, we have a full a team, I guess, or dance troupe.
Dance troupe.
And so it was pretty awesome, and all of the comments we got, and one guy was there. He goes, "Okay, so when you guys doing your next one? Because I'm gonna be at every one, and I'm bringing friends.
And I'm gonna be in the front,
right?" And they were cheering us on. It was actually pretty awesome. So, and nobody was. I think none of us were nervous. Mainly because we were so excited about the outfits we put together that we wanted everybody to see we wanted to show off our lace tights and the fishnets and our corsets that we had ordered. Good. So everybody looked beautiful. So there will be a video.
I'm glad.
I will clip it up a little bit and show a little excerpt as soon as I get it in some pictures out there. Yeah.
I'm glad you're able to do that. That's
it was fun.
Yeah, I wish Well,
you went to the movies. What you guys go see?
We went to see that shark movie Meg.
Oh, did you like it?
Also Mission Impossible.
Okay.
Yeah. Shark movie, they kind of dragged out a little bit, For me, those kinds of movies, if it's a horror type movie or thriller or whatever, I want to see action. Show me some action.
Right.
I want the talking. Just show me people dying. I want to see that.
Well, I don't know if do you think that after Jaws, because that was a movie that stood on its own in a time when we probably were a lot more naive. I think we see too much stuff every single day. We have internet, so you see stuff. So I don't know. Can we have a movie like that could actually shock your senses?
I think you could have one if it's well written and well thought out. I think this was like. I understand the concept behind it, because the concept is this rich billionaire who has all this money. We invested in this, what they call it? It's like a scientific experimental thing. They build this big place underneath the water, under the ocean. And they decide to venture lower than the surface of the
okay.
So underneath that surface is where all these bad things happen. It's like a different world down there.
Okay. So that's folks being nosy and greedy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly. So I get that part, but it could have been written differently.
So hey, Victoria, love you too. I don't do well with horror movies, so I would never go see that. Mission Impossible, but I'll probably catch that online. I think I am going. I got to figure out how I can squeeze it in this weekend. I would like to go see the movie, Spike Lee's movie, The Klan.
Yeah, I want to see that.
The Klansman, because I hear that's supposed to be excellent. With
they said that's his best movie.
Yeah, and Denzel's son is playing. He plays on the series Ballers. Have you ever seen Ballers with Dwayne Johnson, The Rock? So I like him. He's really pretty cool. So I want to go see that. I have to see how I can squeeze that in. We gotta.
Well, isn't that on? Is it HBO or Showtime?
No, it's actually at the movies.
Ballers in the movies?
Oh no, Ballers is on HBO.
Okay.
But the Klansman is at the movies.
Yeah.
Yes, I want to see that, but we got at one of our fellow tennis courts. We're going to go all over there from Harvard to there, and they're going to do some drill.
The group is
they're coming together.
That's
so
cool, though.
We're doing that on Saturday, and then
cool.
Sunday I'm not sure what's going to happen. So it might happen on Sunday.
Yeah. I hear you.
Yeah, so that was So I had to. So last week I had the performance. I went to, which was actually absolutely excellent. I went to a capacity building seminar that's for the nonprofit that I'm now the treasurer on. So I sit on that board. And so we just became a national junior league. It's NJTL, National League for tennis, for teaching kids how to play tennis.
Oh, wow,
and so
that's
we've
good.
just become a chapter.
Yeah.
They selected 6 chapters, and so the ED for Pete Brown, he couldn't attend, so I did because I'm on the board, and it was actually pretty amazing. So this is from a nonprofit standpoint. So that's our nonprofits operating in the positions as businesses is a real challenge, right, for all nonprofits. So
funding.
Right, and to get the funding, you have to be doing business differently than you used to be doing business. They're no longer handing money out. They want, they want outcomes and measures, right?
Yeah.
So what the NJTL or USTA, which is the United States Tennis Association, they are now providing that capacity training so that when you go to write for grants, you're following the vision for the USTA and the NJTL, and as well as for your organization. But one of the things that, being what I do for a living, so obviously I was kind of leaps and bounds above everybody else in there as far as how a business is supposed to run from a financial standpoint and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But there was one thing that they shared that I told them I'm going to adopt in my training classes is, the SWOT, the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, right? So they also showed a compatible analysis to that, and it's called SOAR. So SOAR is strengths, opportunities, aspirations, and results. So whereas SWOT is to identify some areas that you probably don't want to identify, which is more of a temperature check kind of situation, and every business and nonprofit should be doing that. But SOAR is more the positive, is what are your strengths?
It's more the Facebook part of it,
right,
as opposed to the Instagram. SWOT is more the Instagram part,
right,
where they criticize and analyze.
Right, exactly.
But Facebook is, everything is beautiful.
Right. So SOAR is, what are your strengths? How you can turn those strengths into opportunities, and then what's the vision? Your vision, and then what is the results or the goals of that. So I think those two together.
I think they should do them together.
Yeah, so that's what they're doing. So that's what we had. So we had already done our SWOT, and so now they're requiring. So we have action items. So we have to go back and do our SOAR, and then. But I'm going to start teaching that with my classes.
You should make it a 2-day or a 2-session workshop.
Yeah, so really identifying.
Session 1 is a SWOT. Session 2 is a SOAR.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that would be great because then you got a real holistic, comprehensive plan and identifying. So he showed this SOAR for Tesla. And so it was interesting. He did the Tesla. He kind of clipped it off the internet, and you saw Tesla's strengths, weaknesses, and threats. And then he came back and showed, as far as what Elon Musk is looking for as a vision, and then what the outcome. So it was really, really impressive. So we got to do that. But that was what I did on Thursday and Friday.
Sound like you're pretty occupied.
Yeah, and then Saturday. Had a rehearsal in the morning. So I had a rehearsal that night as well, Thursday, Friday, rehearsal in the morning, and then the show in the afternoon.
I have to call you Superwoman.
I know, huh?
You're always on the ball, always on the go.
I know. So just like you, that's why we work so well together.
I know.
So, but that was my weekend. So Sunday. What happened Sunday? Sunday I was like burnt, just burnt. And then
Me time.
Me time. So I slept in late. And got ready. I'm still trying to fight this, whatever this. I'm at the tail end of this cold thing.
Yeah.
And I was looking back I had edited some of our videos and going, I had no voice when I came back from the class, just none. So now it's only halfway. It's gravelly. It's still gravelly there.
Wow,
so it's been a while.
We can still hear you.
Yeah,
it's still get your message.
And it was weird, right? Exactly. It'll stop me from talking, man. So and then yesterday I met with Armin. And we're going to do some stuff together as far as his digital project and start doing some classes.
Good.
He's going to set actually the business zone because, Armin, you haven't met him yet, and I want you to meet him. So he does the digital setting up your app for your business.
Yeah.
So he's using ours as a prototype. So what he's done was he had a higher end luxury model, and so now he's brought it down so it's more a DIY.
Yeah.
But we'll have these classes wrapped around them, so then that they'll buy in.
like
so
that.
the DIY is like $300 a year, but they're maintaining it from the backside.
For the app?
For the app.
That's not
and
bad.
Right. And so whereas the program or the app that he is bringing in, or he's designing, or he's giving you the template. So it's like a drag and drop, right? Then you can customize it with color, and then you can customize it with your fonts and your logo and all that kind of stuff. And then you can do whatever you're going to do. Just
So
like
that's a class that he's teaching?
No, that's actually the app. So when you purchase the $300 a year product, that's what you're doing. And then if you want them to do it, they are actually do it to make sure that it's iTunes ready to go into the Play Store, to the iTunes Play Store, which is $1,200.
$1,200.
And then Raymond.
Yeah.
So Raymond's going to want to be, he and another team are going to be developing it and building it. But in that, he's going to be adding in classes that will help you with your affiliated marketing, your income streams from all of the various companies that do affiliate marketing. So that's what we're getting to be, because we need to not be so hands-on.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so
we need to stay in our lane.
We need to stay in our lane. Or no, we need to be, we're already very good in our lane. We need to be making a whole bunch of money in our lane, as opposed to the one-on-one counseling to make a bigger impact. We're those people, and we should become those influencers that are out there.
I totally
And so he's going to help us, show us how to do that.
I totally
So
agree.
I'm getting with him Monday, and we're gonna kick it off like soon.
Yep.
So
That's
we'll
good.
be bringing you in to do your piece of it, and that will work. And I talked to some other people that it will work with. So we're going to do some collaborative business that is going to make it. So we had some sad news this week.
Yes.
The Queen of Soul passed on, and taking her
to my eyes.
glorious voice to the heavens to be with all the other greats. So what's your favorite Aretha Franklin song?
Oh man, I was going over it yesterday while they were playing it. I know Respect is one. Natural Woman, that's another one. Then they have If.
Yeah.
They have got that one. And then there's another one. I don't remember the name of it, but it's I think she did it in a movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she was just phenomenal. My favorite is Natural Woman.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I love that song.
Oh, yeah.
So she and performed all the way up to the end. Even when she was really, really sick. She was really sick for the last 4 or 5 years.
I was looking at that show that she did for Obama in 2012 or 14 or something like that.
Because I was there in 8.
Yeah. She made him cry. You know, I'm going, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's just because the way she sings will make you cry.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I was there when she was at the inauguration, the first one in 2008, and she sang.
Because see, when she sings, there's a lot of things that's in her voice that's being emitted.
Yeah.
You've got the civil rights struggle that she's portraying. She's got the church, the gospel thing that she's portraying. Then you got the emotional, love, affectionate thing that she's also projecting to.
Right.
So it's just phenomenal.
And I guess because I was a kid when she was, when she was big, and I didn't know, which I don't know why I didn't know this, but because I guess because I was a kid, how involved she was with civil rights.
Yeah.
And I think I read somewhere yesterday that she even offered to bail out Angela Davis, or she did bail out Angela Davis. She paid the money for that to happen. And then the others, she was just phenomenal, actually.
And she was one of the few who still sported that afro, that during that Angela Davis time and even before and after.
Yeah, she was. And I think what I love most about Aretha Franklin is she was real. You didn't see her everywhere. You look at the different pictures, and I got a video that we're going to show when we go to break. But clothes were just something she put on her body.
Oh,
she
yeah.
didn't do like all the other entertainers that
She was
and she
Plus,
wasn't.
she had a stylist too.
She had a stylist
And
too.
that stylist did their hats and
Exactly.
Their hats are different, right?
Right. Everything. Her clothes are different. But here's what was interesting: Fox News mistook her for Gladys Knight.
What?
Yeah. And because they put her, a tribute to Aretha Franklin, and they had a picture of Gladys Knight first.
They're idiots.
Yeah,
Those
and then the
people
second time I saw it came around, it was Patti LaBelle. Like, these two people, other than the fact that they have in common is that they were soul divas.
They are just
but they
showing
do
their
not look
racism.
any.
That's it.
That's ridiculous.
racism right
And
there.
you could just Google it.
That's racism, man.
It was
They
just
knew it.
crazy.
They did it on purpose. They
Yeah,
did it on
it
purpose.
was insane. So that was the only downside.
How can you mistake Aretha for anybody else? I mean, come on.
I mean, how do you mistake Patti LaBelle for anybody else or Gladys Knight? They have their own style. They were their own people in their own right during the same time, but there is no way that you could mistake those three women for each other.
That's Bush's world.
That's insane.
Trump's world.
Yeah, that's just insane. That's just crazy insane. So, and then we have your brethren. Yeah. Marcus Garvey, his birthday was just the 17th today. Yeah. Today is his birthday, that's pretty awesome.
That's gonna be interesting.
So what is it? 131 years.
Yeah,
I think since his death.
Yeah,
his life, his whole.
1940 is when he died.
Okay,
so he was born in 1887. So yeah.
Okay.
So he is.
And where was he born in?
He was born in Jamaica in St. Anne's Bay.
Okay. Yeah.
And then he emigrated to England in order to get his notoriety because, they saw him they call him an activist, a revolutionary, but he was just speaking out for the people.
Okay.
He was trying to make sure that we recycle black dollars. That's what he was trying to do.
Right. Before Bob Marley, who put it in music, huh? Yeah. So because I did read something that he wasn't well received in Jamaica, and that he had to leave.
That's how it is. A lot of us, we don't get respect at home. We got to go abroad, just like with us. I mean, here we do great work here in Los Angeles. Nobody really cares about us. But I go to Vegas and I'm a god there.
Right,
you see what
exactly.
I'm saying?
So it's amazing. Isn't that crazy?
That's exactly
what
I'm
so he didn't get his love in Jamaica, his homeland, so he had to
go
leave.
to England and New York.
Yeah.
And that's where he started that publishing company, and he had a shipping company also.
So he did. See, he was actually pretty profound in the business development or the economic development. So where would that? So I guess was that his parents or where? I mean, from the history that you know, where did he get that drive, that fight from?
Well, you see, when you lack opportunities or access to opportunities, you become an amazing entrepreneur or self-sufficient individual. Mm-hmm. That's what happened with him. There was no opportunities for him, so he's going, I got to create it. And that's what happens with minorities. We don't get access to opportunities because we're not part of the privileged group.
Right.
So therefore, we got to create our own things.
Okay.
70% of entrepreneurs are foreigners. 70% of entrepreneurs. We come from another place.
With far less.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and the number is growing too. It's probably 85 by now, but they have 70% on record.
Right.
And the reason for that is when you come here as a foreigner or as a minority, or as a dispossessed group, right? You're not going to get opportunities. So you have to go out and create it yourself.
Okay.
And that's how most of us become entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. You're not going to get a job. They're not going to give you a job.
Right, because you're new. You're brand new, and they don't know you. Sometimes you don't know the language.
And sometimes they don't care about you.
And they don't care about you.
You don't look like them.
Right. Well, we know that for sure now, don't we?
Exactly. So then you got to go out and create. And that's what he did. He went out, he said, I got to rely on these guys to do business with them. They don't like me, so I'm going to create my own publishing company. Then he created his own shipping company and start creating employment for folks who look like him.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, tonight there's a group called Buy Black. It's called Buy Black movement and tag team network, and they've been one of the young ladies, Tony Hughes, have been after me, wanting me to come out to a meeting or something.
Yeah.
So they're doing a celebration for his birthday. So I'm going to go there later on this evening to show.
That's good.
And
I just wish more and more of us would follow in the footsteps of folks like him and others who've been trying to do that collaboration to bring us all together so we can pool our resources and get stronger and be more self-sufficient.
And in fact, I think that's one of the reasons I was saying to you earlier that we have a voice and we need to be more impactful with that voice because we understand business and we speak their language. And I think if we were speaking in more environments or more places where we could have that conversation, because every chance I get, every meeting I go to, they're all talking about the events that they're doing and It's like, but we're not making an impact.
Exactly.
We're not going to make an impact. And I went to a meeting this week with the Los Angeles South Chamber of Commerce, which is a new group, but they started.
That's in Carson, right?
No, they're actually here, but they are. I went to a meeting in Lemert, and so they've been about 2 years. So they're trying to fit a niche that wasn't being met by the other chambers that dealt or that work with specific people of color. And so that's what I said to them. I said, all of this is fantastic, but here's where I am right now. I don't want to hear no more talk. I don't want to see no more posts on Facebook.
Right.
I want to see action.
Some results.
I want us. So you're busy, I'm busy, but I take time to be able to sit on boards to make sure I'm making an impact. I do the youth entrepreneur classes to make an impact. I still do my own business, but I volunteer my time. That's action oriented. So we need to be more action, less talk, no more why anybody's doing whatever anybody's doing. Forget them. Just do what we need to do.
Thing.
And if we do it together, we're moving as a unit. It's almost like a block. When it's in the stock market, the money that's invested in pension funds, they move slower because it's so much bigger. But the losses are greater, or the rewards are greater again because they're moving at a bigger impact, and there's less loss. It's got to be something real critical like 2008 to really. But if you were in the stock market all by yourself, your losses are going to be greater and more often, right? But if you're moving like a block, then the rewards are going to be greater. And that's how we have to start thinking. And I think it has to come from those of us that get it.
Right. And the next thing I really, really want to emphasize, I want to keep pushing this every day. I don't want to see another minority going out there and leasing a property for their business. I don't want them leasing anything. I want them to buy in a block. We're the only groups that's not buying.
Right, exactly.
We're the only groups.
And if you had 4 companies that did some of the similar that you could collaborate with, buy a building where you can share the space, they can pay whoever's buying it the rent, or you throw it all in there together. Now you're sharing in that, and the burden is not so great.
That's exactly
And you have a voice.
And you control your destiny.
Right.
Because if we talked about this before on this show. If we go down Crenshaw Boulevard right now, most of these businesses have been here 20, 30 years, right?
Right.
And the buildings they're in are rented.
Yeah.
Now, think about it. Rent for 20, 30 years, you could have spent that in a mortgage. You could have bought that building yourself and own it now.
Right.
Or the land.
And I think we need more individuals that are in real estate to not make the assumption that they know.
Right.
Because they don't know. How
know.
many businesses do you not know that don't understand corporate credit?
That's true.
I was talking to Barbara Lindsay today, and they don't even know that that's open to them.
A lot of them.
Right? So it's an assumption that we think they know.
Yeah.
They don't know.
Right.
And so, and we also know with our group, we kind of have to do some hand holding.
Yeah.
And we have to guide them to the opportunities.
Yeah.
Literally, almost, sometimes I just bring the people and sit them in front and go, y'all make this work. Because I know that the capacities are there, but I need you to do this. And then I guide them to what I need them to do. So I think... again, and that's that impact. So I'm telling those of us out here that have a voice, we got to put all that other stuff to the side and let us all come together. We be that leader and say, okay, this is what we're going to do.
Right.
You address this area, you address this area. We sit down, we have conversation, we strategize, we have a system, we create this, and we bring our flock together to make them do what they need to do. Because we're right now on a cliff, hanging on. We're not even hanging with toes right now.
Right.
We're hanging with fingernails. And there's a couple of things that I saw this week that told me that if you have a strategy and if you understand and you watch the people that are making strategic moves, whether it's good or bad, and you watch them and you pull and extract. So one of those individuals, and I'm not really 100% with this person, but she is doing her thing right now, and that is Omarosa. She has watched Trump.
I was thinking about that.
She went and I was telling my sister this morning, I said, this girl, he didn't mess with the wrong person because she has learned at his feet. She actually he trusted her to a point where he allowed her on the inside, but she was thinking self-preservation. So she had taken pictures and video because she knew at some point, because she has watched how he has operated, and she knew at some point she was going to need that to protect herself. So yesterday, there was a couple of things that happened. They were interviewing her, and they were asking her what was her thoughts that she signed the NDA and that he was coming after. She goes, he comes after everybody. She says, but I'm not worried. And this is what she said. She goes, because I'm blowing a whistle. So what he doesn't realize is, and after that was said, one of the commentators said, she worked for the U.S. government. That's who employed her, not Trump, the U.S. government. And really, John Kelly was her immediate supervisor. So she's an employee. So she's protected by the Whistleblowers Act, right? And so she can say whatever she wants.
She's been advised very well.
And then there was one thing she said. They said something about Trump, and she goes, it's the art of the deal.
Yeah.
I almost thought I was driving and almost hit somebody because I was like, girl, you play this. Because he did one thing wrong. And if anybody has dealt with a black woman, and this is what she said yesterday. She says, he dismissed me. And black women will lose their mind if he dismisses me. Whether I'm in a relationship with him or not, don't dismiss me.
Diary of a Mad Black Woman. Right?
Diary of a Mad Black Woman. So he done drawn flirt blood in the sand, and she going out for the kill. So he literally, and she's been taught by him, and she learned her lessons well. And so she knows at some point, because the videotape, they said she got over 200 tapes. And she's like, bring it on.
She knew that day was coming.
So
I see, there's a lot of things a lot of us don't like about her. You know, I mean,
but she's shrewd.
Yeah, she stood in there and she blocked opportunities for all the blacks and all of that. We get that. But the one thing that symbolizes the whole thing to me, and maybe, you know, once more people start looking at it, they'll see. You know this animal, the badger? Honey badger? Okay. So when the honey badger first got created, they didn't have resistance to the snake like the cobra.
Okay.
The cobra is poisonous. You know that,
exactly.
Right? So that thing, it bites you and you die.
Right.
But the honey badger develop a resistance to that. So then when the snake bites them, they take it, roll with the punches, and you know they'll get knocked out for a little while. They get back up, and they fight the snake, and they kill the snake. That's the situation that's going on right there between those two right now. Between Trump and Omarosa.
Yeah.
She's the only badger. He's a snake.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
And so she knows what she knows.
Oh, yeah.
And
she'll get him.
She's going to use it. So that was, this week has been an interesting week. There's been tons of stuff going on. But the reality show has just gotten intense. It must be we feel like we're in season 9. So, which means, and it has a 10-year lifespan, season 10 years. So they're about to go off the air. So 9 and 10 has to be off the chain. So we're in season at the bottom of the ninth season.
They're getting ready for the next season.
They're getting ready for the next season. So we're going to go to break because
Let's go ahead and do that. And for those of you who are listening, our phone number here is 323-293-3375. That's 323-293-3375. You're on the Business Zone. And if you don't know what the Business Zone is about, Business Zone is a platform where entrepreneurship and supplier diversity come together to provide opportunities for small businesses, minority businesses, women-owned businesses. And Crystal and I were experts in this area. We provide a variety of resources to help you small businesses to become business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. That's what this program is all about. So give us a call. We're going to have some fantastic guests on the show today. Give us a call if you have any questions, you want to contribute to the conversation, you want to share in what some of Crystal and I are talking about right now, go ahead, give us a call. 323-293-3375.
All righty, so we're going to go take a break.
Take a break.
Looking out on the morning rain, I used to feel so uninspired. So unkind, but you're the key to my peace of mind, because you make me feel, you make me feel, you make me feel like a natural woman.
Excellent. Are you contract ready? Are you bank loan ready? So I want to know how business ready you guys are. Part of what we want to do is to match you up with contract providers in Vegas, the casinos.
We put together this training for the contractors in Las Vegas to assist them in becoming business ready.
You know, when you first start a small business, the thing you're shortest on is resources. So the association is actually providing the training free.
Now, Buchanan Associates, they're very well known throughout the U.S., mainly out of the California region, but they have produced so many successful companies that we felt if we brought them here to train our people, that it would allow for that growth, because we have so many public works type projects, stadiums that are going to be built, slated between now and the next 2 years, prepared to be able to do that work.
So we're back on the Business Zone with
Crystal
and Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic. And in a short minute, we'll have our next guest.
Well, I'm going to introduce her while she's coming through.
Okay.
So, Mr. Sean Booker, I actually met this young lady at the at the Bella Network.
Oh, okay.
Remember when we did the Bella Network a couple years ago?
Yes.
And this was when I first met her. And Alicia Matson, who is the CEO of the Bella Network, she brought 20 powerful women who were various levels, various coaches. So this young lady I had the opportunity to meet, and so she was just And the great thing about her is she was having some health challenge on that day, but when the girl got up and spoke, you would have never known it at all. She was energized, and she was. So you can put that one on. And so she was just amazing. So Miss Deshawn A. Booker is known as the maximizing coach for her ability to powerfully propel her clients to tap into their inner purpose and reach their full potential to transform them into becoming more than conquerors, leaving their limiting beliefs in the dust. So she is... Her title as a coach is she's a life transformational coach. And so she changes lives. And I've had the opportunity to speak with some of her clients, and they attest to that. That's their testimony, is that their lives literally changed.
So they've been transformed.
So she's a ball of energy. She also has over 21 years of expertise in program development, implementation. She teaches at the community college levels. I believe she's actually at one of the Cal State University now. She is, in addition to that, she's a playwright. She's a director and a producer. She's the creator of a talk show called The Teen Scene. She's a founder and artistic director of Oasis Ministry Productions. This young lady has it all.
Does it say she's Jamaican too?
We all
got a lot of jobs like
she got a lot of jobs like us.
She's a Jamaican.
So
like
we're gonna ask her. So welcome to Sean. Are you Jamaican?
I'm sorry. I couldn't avoid
because he's Jamaican and he got 19 jobs too.
Right. I'm not Jamaican, but that's okay.
Welcome to the business zone.
Thank you. I walked in and I heard you saying, when you met me and I was in the pain. Just now I was saying to myself, you do your best work when you're feeling down, because I'm feeling not so... but you'll see it act like I'm not even feeling that, But life happens, right?
Yeah.
And you cannot allow for adversity to disrupt your peace and disrupt your space, because they're going to happen. So, wow, who's that woman you just introduced? Where is she? I need to ask her for some money.
Because I had spent 4 days with her, and so she didn't come on, I think, until that Saturday or Sunday morning. Day. And I'm like, well, who's this lady? I mean, she was phenomenal, just phenomenal.
Thank you, Krista.
There's some speakers out there that really touch you. I mean, there's the ones that are out there, that's the big timers, but then you run across some that the big time is just waiting for you, because you got it, girl.
I enjoy it. Thank you.
You got it.
Thank you.
So tell us about maximizing your magnificence.
So listen, I was listening to you all. I wanted to keep listening, right? I was like, they need to keep talking. Gilbert, you said something, and what you said in the midst of what was said between the both of you, you said, how does one pursue their destiny, right? You said that. You said, we as a people, we're not pursuing our destiny.
That's true.
That's exactly in the business that I'm in.
That's true.
It really is about pursuing your destiny.
Yes.
And I've been, as a little girl, I was really caught up in this vision of what my life looked like. And I said, I want to do fun things.
Yeah.
And I want my life to be fun with my talent and whatever that is I'm liking to do. I like to talk to people and make them laugh and have fun. And I began to understand at a very young age that my destiny was already in me. Already. And so I began to allow myself to tap into that. And so I totally agree with other people allowing themselves, Crystal, to have their destiny.
Yes.
Yes. We're so accustomed to saying, okay, you have to get a 9 to 5, right?
Yeah.
And you have to just work, forever so that you can have retirement and then you'll be happy. Wrong answer.
Right.
Wrong answer. But we've been conditioned that way. And so I had to realize as an adult, I'm going to go ahead and sway from that for a minute. And it's not been so, easy, because we've been conditioned to do what? Go and work. Like you said, why do we lease instead of buying?
Exactly.
And so maximizing your magnificence I've been working with women for over 20 years. And one of the common conversations, the thread in that conversation with women is, Deshawn, how do I live my best life? How do I luxuriate while doing it and love what I'm doing? And then I go, okay, that's easy. And then they say, well, how do I keep the momentum? I go, oh, that's where we get off track, you know, because of the unforeseen situations that happen. People telling us, oh, no way, you know, you can't do that, or you need to, what's your backup plan? And so we don't want to pursue what's really in our soul and our heart. And I decided that I was going to take that leap, if you will. And for me, leap means letting everything appear possible. Letting everything appear possible. And so I was going to take that leap and go out and talk with women from my own story, because we all have a story, don't we?
That's right.
We have a story. Crystal, right? Listen, when I met Crystal, I call Crystal, first of all, the social media technology queen. This woman knows everything. You ask her one small question, she goes into her bag and pulls out everything.
Pull out some stuff and say,
oh, you mean this?
This one could solve it. This one could solve it.
Doesn't she do that? So I don't know if Crystal have a story, because Crystal's just like
multiple stories.
I say, how do you know all this and that? Oh, Deshawn, you have to know. You have to have your own gig. You have to be available, be ready. So I said, okay, I'm going to get myself up under this woman, you know, because my story needs to have the story, but it also now needs to be shaved and, you know, cleaned so that women can say, okay, I can relate to her. I want to relate. I'm not so above here where women cannot relate. And so with maximizing your magnificence, I really focus on, not just focus, it really is my vision, the platform, to teach women 3 things. How to, number 1, live with intention. How to work from a place of integrity so you can do what? Manifest increase. Those 3 I's. How do you do that? And so I really call myself the how-to coach. A lot of times people are motivational speakers and coaches and trainers. Well, I want to be a transformational experience that I lived my own self and still living today. And I want to be able to offer women the how-to everything we want to get to. I have a conference that I'm planning for August 25th. It is the Meeting in the Ladies' Room Conference, right?
I love this. I love this.
Isn't that a great
title? I think that's a wonderful title.
So, and thank you, because the title actually is an extension of my play, Meeting in the Ladies' Room. I produced the play, directed it in 2010.
That's where all the real stuff comes out.
That's where all that real stuff. Women, listen, we kick everything to the curb in the Meeting in the Ladies' Room, right? The women kick their shoes off, and we're talking about everything. And so the play became a movement, thus the conference. And so the conference is on August 25th. And listen, women, I'm going to tell you where you can get your tickets. I want you to get your sister girls and your friends and show up. I have group rates available for 6 or more, and it's at Mount St. Mary's University here in LA. But what we're talking about at that conference, we're talking about how do you step into your divine appointment, your destiny. How do you do it? How do you stop being afraid? I'm scared every day. I really am. I'm really going, okay. One of my girlfriends said to me the other day, she said, so how is the conference going? She said, what are you doing? Are you preparing, Deshawn? I said, well, I'm just kind of relaxing. She said, look, you're more than the pretty face on that flyer. Girl, what you doing? I said, oh, yeah, that's right. I'm the one putting it together. She said, what are you doing? I said, I'm just kind of, I don't know. She said, no, you're not just a picture on the face on that flyer. Because when you think about it, you go, oh, my goodness. I really need these women to come, you know. This is my vision, and when you step into your vision, it's powerful. I gave myself 2 gifts last year, and they're the gifts that just keep on giving. The first gift that I gave myself last year, Crystal and Gilbert, I said, Deshawn, I want you to not talk yourself out of anything. Now, that's a big one. Because, you know, we do that, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's like my sister one time last year, she did, and I think Shonda Rhimes did this, say yes to everything.
Say yes, she sure did. That's what she, yes, absolutely, right. And so I said I would not talk myself out of anything. The second gift I gave to myself was that I would blow my own mind. Now, that's a big one. Because we're always waiting for someone else to blow our mind. I said, Deshawn, blow your own mind. So if you're making plans and, you know, have visions and dreams and you're teaching and coaching women, this what are you doing? Step into that. Teach yourself what you're teaching others.
Yeah.
And so those are the two gifts that I've been giving myself, that I want women and men, but I want women to understand and know that they can blow their own minds. So this year, my mantra, if you will, is activate your within 2018. How do we activate what's already in us?
Yeah.
How do we do that? Right?
Yeah.
Crystal, how do you do that? How do you activate what's already in you?
Actually, I guess because I do a lot of outside stuff. So one of the things is we were just talking about it at the early part of the show. So I do things that's outside of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
So this year I signed up for a burlesque class, and which was fine in the studio because that's no different from Zumba or salsa. But we took it to the stage last Saturday.
Okay.
And so we had on our costumes, and it was a whole production. I have never done, unlike you, I have never done anything on the stage.
You had on the whole,
We had the corset.
and what color was it, Crystal?
Purple. I had a purple one. I had a red one. We had dress changes, girl. And we actually had to change clothes in between. So that was coming out of my... I play tennis, I ski.
Yeah.
But this is a different thing, which you're being vulnerable on a stage.
Absolutely.
And people are watching you perform, and you're probably making a mistake or two because you're dancing, but they're cheering. It was the most phenomenal thing I've ever done.
Wow! Look at what's in there, right?
Right, exactly.
So you want to do more of that,
was
Crystal?
there.
You gonna do more of it?
Yeah, we are. We're going to do one at Christmas, and
Okay, I got to be there.
And actually, we're talking about she created a showcase, and then the relationships that we developed in this last 6 weeks of rehearsing was pretty awesome.
Nice.
I think something else I did in a grand stage was I danced at a Clipper game earlier this year with my Zumba class.
Really?
Yeah, so I guess that's what I do to find out what's in here that's not part of my business world.
I love it.
Yeah.
I need to get Crystal's autograph.
See, risk taking is very important
Yes.
into taking on that journey that we're talking about. That's it.
Risk-taking,
You
right?
gotta take risk. Because if you don't take risk, then you'll be relegated to the regular stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
The predictable stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
The 9 to 5.
That's right.
Because 9 to 5 is more sure, it's reliable.
That's right.
But when you're a risk taker, then you want to venture out into entrepreneurship,
Right.
into what you're
Right,
doing,
right,
what Crystal
right.
is doing. You see what I'm saying?
Yes,
And
yes.
Not
some-
staying safe.
Yeah.
It's not safe.
It's not safe.
Yeah.
Oh, do
And
I know that?
sometimes we do that because our backs are against the wall.
Absolutely.
Just like we mentioned earlier that, hey, they're not giving us opportunities because
Right.
we don't look like them.
Them.
So then you got to go out and
And
create.
create.
It. Yes. See what I
Okay,
mean?
Gilbert, let me ask you this. And I know I'm on the show, but I want to ask Gilbert because help me today, Gilbert. When we say we're going to create it, right?
Yes.
How do I know that I'm in the right zone, the right place
Yeah.
of creating that? I hear it when I'm at home, Gilbert, and by myself.
Yeah.
I got the music pumping, Crystal. I've said an affirmation, a mantra, a prayer.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, Deshaun, you got this.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, what is the rest of the world going to think?
Yes.
Where are the people? Where are the
Right.
ticket sales? Gilbert,
Right.
what do I do? How
See,
do I keep that?
Step 2 to that
Yes.
is, as an entrepreneur, the system is designed to tell us no. Everyone tells us no. The banks, our customers, our competitors, or even our families tell us no.
Right.
So if we put strategies in place to counteract those no's, then the next level that you're talking about
Okay.
will be feasible.
Okay.
Because you expect the no, so you have something. And what I do in my workshop with my clients, when I'm teaching them how to do an elevator pitch,
Yes.
I tell them that you want to use this phrase, even if.
Yes.
Even if. Even if the customer says they already have a system going,
Right.
tell them that, hey, all I need is to show you how this will work,
Yes.
and then you can compare it with what you have.
already have.
You see what I mean? We are even willing to let you try this
Okay.
30 days for free.
Okay.
You see what I mean?
Yes.
You got to
Yes.
use the even if scenario.
Even if.
Even
yes.
if.
Yes. Yes.
Even if you already have that, even if you don't have the budget for it,
Okay.
we can break it up into small payments so you can afford it.
That's just
You
what
see what I'm
someone
saying?
said to me today.
You got to do that
Just-
even if scenario.
Okay,
So,
all the
so
time.
you get you set yourself up, you get energized, and you're ready to go out there. And then you go, oh, but what is the world going to say? Well, we know what the world is going to say.
Right.
The world is going to say no.
Right.
So we got to
Okay.
be prepared for that no.
Okay.
And that's where even if comes in.
I love it.
Oh, yeah.
And I even
love
think
it.
there was something that Trump said before he was actually elected, and he was speaking to us, and he says, "What do you have to lose by voting for me?"
Exactly.
We did start to galvanize at that
Yes,
point
Yeah.
we did.
because
Yes,
Yeah.
we did.
what we had to lose,
Yeah.
Oh,
we ain't got
It
a
was a
whole
lot.
lot.
A lot.
And
That's
there
right.
was even with the whole not a whole lot that we have,
Yes.
there is so much more that we could lose.
Oh, yeah.
That could propel us to
All
a
the way
place
back- all the way.
where our
Yeah.
ancestors
Yes.
fought so hard to
Well,
get out of.
we're seeing now what we have to lose, right?
Right.
Because we're in the tip of losing our voting rights.
Right,
You see
exactly.
what I'm saying?
So,
And all
so
of
when
these
he
other
made, so
things.
when we said
Yes.
that, and then when those black women the black women went out and voted,
Yes.
Yeah.
oh no, we got way too much
Oh,
to lose
yeah.
for
That's
you
right.
for us to put you
Oh,
here.
yeah.
That's
So
right.
it won't be us that will put you in office.
No, no,
So
no,
80% of us actually voted.
Yeah.
Wow.
Whereas the ones that put him in there was white women.
Yes,
It just
right.
blows your mind as well.
Right.
But that's what I think when we're talking to our audiences, you have so much to lose. And I think, Deshaun, where I'm going now is not for those of us that feel we're comfortable and that we can just glide.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I'm going to the heart and the soul
Yeah.
of black people.
Right.
Okay.
And the heart and soul of black people and black women are their children.
Okay.
So
that
that's
generational,
my message
right,
now.
legacy.
If we're not
Yes.
fixing you
Yes.
for you,
Yes.
let's fix you so you can then train your children.
Absolutely.
Pain
So
point.
that they can live in
Pain
there.
point, right.
That's a
Absolutely.
pain point,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So that's the
Yes.
message I think we all
To
should be
shift
related.
that- yes,
Shift it
yes,
from them.
yes.
Because
Yeah.
they may not think they're worthy.
They're worthy and they're done. They're too late. It's too
Yeah.
old. They're
Yeah.
done. Right.
But their children,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
their children still have a whole life
Absolutely.
to go through.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
so it's up to us
Yes.
to make sure that they see us performing at a level that we can pull and bring our children to make sure there's a place for them. So that's my message
No.
always now.
I love
Don't do
it.
it for you.
I love it.
I don't care about you.
Yeah.
I
it's
care
true.
about your children. Do
No,
it for them.
and you're saying that one of my speakers for the Meeting in the Ladies Room conference is Miss Tashanta Hogan. She's the founder and CEO of Sensational Soaps, and her whole move now has shifted as an entrepreneur. She is actually building a mogul. Her daughter, Shayna, has her own line of nail polish
polish, I
now.
know.
Right, right. And that's her whole focus. She's speaking as one of the women
Yeah.
on the platform for
Yeah.
me, and she speaks all the time about, no, Deshaun, it's about my daughter. It is about me allowing her to know what's in her.
Yeah.
What is she going to now? How can she move and maneuver through this America?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And have her dreams and desires, not just for herself, but for her children.
Yeah.
And that's Tashanda's entire platform now. She works with two other women, and their organization is called Building and Raising a Mogul. And so she's like, if I am not in a position to do it for myself, I can't do it for my child.
Right.
And so I'm working on me continuously, but really building her. So, Crystal, that is so
That's the message.
prominent.
Yeah.
That's
to
the
get them in
message.
your body. And Shay was actually in my biz camp last year.
Really?
Yeah. And so she was phenomenal. And so she actually won. I think she won second prize, I believe.
Okay.
And so I've met her mom.
Right.
I've been trying to get her on the show actually, but they're so busy. They
Yeah,
travel
they
all
travel
over the place.
all the- yeah.
This little girl has been
Yes.
in Forever 21 magazine.
On the Real Talk
The
show
Real
here in
Talk.
LA.
She has been doing
Everywhere.
things.
Yes,
Amazing.
So,
yes, yes.
But that should be our message to our women.
Right. So women, listen.
And our children and even our fathers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I have so many friends that take care of their own that they're the primary caregiver and they operate in that a methodology as well. So
Okay.
it's about the children. It's
about the
about us
children.
making sure that this is a better world. Because when you look at our ancestors, that's what they did.
And
they
that's-
they suffered for us so that we could be here having this conversation
That's right.
on the business zone.
That's right.
If
That's
they hadn't
right.
suffered for us,
Right.
we wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
And fought through what they had to
Yes.
fight through. because a lesser person would have
Yeah.
never made it.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Wow, I want to say two things. I want to go back and say, so women, absolutely, women, show up for this conference. The conference is only $97.
Yeah.
Get your friends, get 5 friends, $87. I'm going to tell you, you can get that on, my number is 310-990-0648. But also DeshawnBooker.com.
And where's the event going to be?
Mount St. Mary's University here in LA, right off of Adams, right near USC.
And for them to sign up, they go to your
They can
website?
register at the website. They can
Okay.
also register to my Facebook page, Deshawn Booker. Also at Deshawn Booker on Instagram and Twitter. But I wanted to say this. I love that we're saying this about the women.
Yeah.
Yet, women, when you come, there are tools, tangible tools for you to take into your community. And your community starts with your home.
Yes.
It starts with you and then your home.
Yes.
And then, Crystal, some women say, like myself, I don't have any children. But I still have a responsibility to
Right.
my goddaughters. I have
Right.
2 beautiful goddaughters.
Right.
I have, my niece and my nephews, and I have the young people that I work with through my nonprofit all the time. And so we still have that responsibility to the younger children or the the generation behind
Right.
us.
Right.
So I don't want the single women, to say, well, I don't have any children,
Right.
but we still have that responsibility to allow ourselves to connect to women so that women can then be mentored and have other women in their life that is able to create that path for them so that they can see that there is a place for them and that we can pull someone, behind us. We've been taught, no, just get it for yourself, and look out for yourself. And when you were talking about, our ancestors, I remember growing up, my father said to me one time, a few times, how do I want to say this? He would say, he was just very blunt. He said, listen, the Jewish people help their kids all the time. He says, so I'm going to help you.
Yeah.
And he would help me, in certain areas. My father was on the radio for years, KGLH. And so, he said, I'm going to help you. This is what I want you to do. Step out and do it. He said, they help their families all the time and their children.
Yeah.
And there was a disconnect within our culture, of doing that. Sometimes for some reason we saw, not everyone, that we wanted to teach and instill children to do it for themselves. And I get that.
Right.
But we do need to create that sense of community and saying, this is for my children, my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren. And that's so powerful.
Right.
But we have to create that mindset. That's something else I teach women. What is your mindset? What are you saying? And is based on how you're thinking, right? And what you think and feel. And a lot of times we're often still living in our past, living in our disappointments,
Right.
living in the unforeseen situations. And so how do we move from that?
Right.
And so I transition women with that so they can understand how to maximize
Right.
wherever you are.
Right.
Doesn't mean that I want you to be perfect. Oh, no, I want you to just be excellent.
So I just want to say a couple things right now. I'm listening to what you're saying, Deshawn. And you mentioned some of these women, they don't have kids, so they're going, what can I contribute?
Yeah.
How can I do something? Well, they don't necessarily have to have kids to be able to teach or help. They can become mentors. They can become coaches.
Yeah.
And that will help too. Now, people, and you could look back and go. The second point that I want to bring up is the one about the Jewish family who help each other, while the African American family don't really care to do that because they're going, hey, you got to learn by yourself. Well, part of the reason why the African American family feels like, hey, I don't want to do that, learn by yourself,
Right.
because they're thinking in terms of nepotism. They're thinking, what those guys are doing is nepotism. I hate that. I don't like that. So therefore, I'm not going to indulge in nepotism. I want you to learn yourself. But people tend to learn much better when they emulate someone that they like, know, and trust. You see what I mean?
Yes.
So, and think of it. When you look at little kids, what do they do? They imitate everyone that's close to them in their space, right?
Absolutely.
So it's the same thing with us. If we have a family member, a parent, or a grandparent who are entrepreneurs, we would have been in a much better position because we would see what they went through to be an entrepreneur, the things that they learned to do, and we would have learned that along the way. So now when it's our turn, we'd be farther along.
Yes.
You see what I mean?
Yes.
So it's playing itself into what you're doing too. The same thing that these women, they just need to, whatever they have to contribute it.
Yes.
Help out.
Yes, yes.
And that's so true, because I, too, don't have children, but I've worked with kids since I was 17 years old.
Yeah.
And some people, when I look back, and my sister and I, we were talking about this, and my brother-in-law the other day, it was his birthday, so it was like, if you could redo your life, what would you do over? And so my sister said, well, would you have kids? I said, no, because I have contributed to hundreds
That's
and
right.
thousands of
Same
children.
here.
And you're a mentor.
Over
you're a
my
coach.
life.
Yes.
And that was why I was put on this planet. If God wanted me to have children, I would have had them.
Right, same here, Crystal.
But I had an impact on multiple children, over thousands of children, my whole entire
Look
adult
at what
life.
you're doing with this program.
Right, with the business, and it's gone through different capacities. I started in Girl Scouts, and I had my own troop. When I was kicked out of the Girl Scouts when I was a kid, but I came back, so that was all part of that. I came back as a leader. So there.
Right.
And then from there, I went to teaching kids how to ski and become racers. And I did that for 15, 20 years and had a couple hundred kids that I actually had an impact on. And then now I'm doing it in the business community.
Yes.
I'm teaching children how to become entrepreneurs, planting that seed. And so from here on out to the last days of my life, that's what I will be doing. So, and this is what I find amazing. And so if anybody's looking for that purpose in life, do it with children. Because what I see with the 3 weeks, with what we do with the kids, and we got 25 kids in a classroom, and they're screaming and hollering and doing what they do. But when they get up and pitch, and I hear my words come out of their mouth, and I hear phrases that I made,
taught them,
that I've taught them in that little time frame. Oh my God, that is the most powerful experience of life. Or when you're teaching them, and you're doing a generic to everybody, but then they come up and ask your advice or ask you to help them tweak something. And then when they go back to pitch it again, you hear it verbatim.
And you say,
oh, that's awesome.
They got it.
You want to see, if you want your life to change, and you want to just give of yourself, do it to children.
Absolutely.
Because they will make you feel like you are the smartest human being on the planet, and they will make you feel the most loved. And I think one of the kids I taught years ago, and she was 13 years old, and she was on my ski program. And her mom had put her in the program because they were knocking heads, right? And so she was a little feisty, a little precocious, and so fast forward. She's now, she was 13 at that time, which is a tough age.
Oh, yes,
my mom used to say that 13-year-olds should be kept in a closet until they're 15. So fast forward, she's now 22. She calls me. Now, I had not had any conversation with her. She calls me, finds my phone number, and she says, Miss Crystal, I just want to tell you, I found your number, I ran across your number, and I just want to tell you that I wish I had listened to you and my mom, because she now had a 2-year-old, and she was going back to school. She was living in San Bernardino with her grandmother, but she had to come back up to LA to go to school. She goes, this is the hardest thing, and if I had just listened to you and my mom trying to tell me to put that second, put me first, go to school, get my education, get a career, then be a mother, this would not be so hard. And I just thought it was on my heart that I had to tell you. That was the best thing. If no other child ever called me, but I get that all the time. But that is that's the value of that.
Absolutely. Yes. I've worked with kids all my life, everywhere, every day. Not just as a teacher at the YWCA and the performing arts camps and with the mayor's office, everything. I've done it all. That's all. You're right. And so I get that as well, and it is such a fulfilling, moment that we experience in that. And I call it the mastery of contribution.
Yes.
What are you? Mastery of contribution. That's what I teach and coach. And what are we contributing to the world as your gift? What are you doing? And it doesn't have to be something huge. In terms of huge meaning that is out there being seen by others. But what are you contributing in your own community? community, the mastery of contribution. And so in working with
helping
women
to shape someone's
else,
destiny.
that's right. There's that destiny again. Right.
Yeah.
Right. And being in leadership. When we're in bold leadership, we leave others empowered and enabled to their leadership.
Yeah.
And so that's what I coach women through, maximizing your magnificence, and it's such an honor because we get stuck. Women get stuck. I'm not saying men don't, but women get stuck because we're nurturers, and then if we feel like we're moving outside of that, then we're going to be judged, and we're not really, you know. So wait a second, who do I tend to first? And we put on that red cape and we go save the world. But what are we doing in actuality to also contribute our own gifts and skill sets so that we are empowered and empowering others? And I find it a delight to really allow women to find within themselves their power and not to hold back. And we say these words like being authentic, right? And, giving yourself permission. Well, those are sound bites, but really, how do we do that? What does that really look up? I always ask, women when I'm working with the women, my clients, I say, how does that show up for you? What does that look like in your world? What does it look like when I'm saying maximizing your magnificence, right? What does that mean to an individual? And so I had to sit back and say, well, Deshawn, what are your 3 keys to activating your within this year? And so my 3 keys are, number 1, saying yes. First, you have to say yes to exactly what's inside of you. Whatever you feel, whatever you're saying, okay, this is what's, bubbling up on the inside of me, is ready to give birth to. That's me saying yes to that. Whatever that looks like in terms of, if you are a seamstress, if you want to become a mentor, if you want to create your own business, if you want to turn your passion into profit. I talk about that often. Turn your passion into profit. You have to say yes. Then the second thing that for me to activate my within is to surrender to that. It's to truly surrender. And that means being non-negotiable. Yeah, that means being non-negotiable, surrendering to that, truly. Even that's when I ask, listen, you all don't know, I was getting my little nugget, my little coaching from Gilbert today. So I got some coaching from Gilbert because you got to be coachable. You got to be coachable. People think, I'm not I don't subscribe to I know. I don't know it all. Right. So Gilbert, you gave me my little nugget today. And it wasn't little, though. You changed my life. I'm not kidding. Thank you. So in that surrendering, I had to understand how that no is always going to be there, right? So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
And then my last key for me surrendering is strategy.
Yes.
Gilbert was talking about that earlier. You got to have strategy.
Got to put a strategy.
Got to put a plan to it.
Yes.
So I didn't came to talk about me, and I didn't got deposited into. I'm all rejuvenated and rebooted and refreshed here on the business zone. I just want to thank you two for just allowing me to be here and talk about the Meet in the Ladies Room conference, but also giving me what I needed today.
That's great.
Oh my God!
Now,
And that's what
do you have a video that you?
I do. I have all of that on my Facebook page.
Oh, okay.
So Deshawn Booker, again, Facebook. Look me up on Facebook, Deshawn Booker.
I'm going to send you a friend request.
Please, I have phenomenal marketing videos of all the talent. So the talent and I have done marketing videos. So there's videos on my page. Also, you can join my group. I have a private group on Facebook called the Maximum Potential Experience.
Yes.
That's my private group. But on both of those pages, I have marketing videos. And so I'm showcasing all of the talent for the conference. Yes. So it's all there. It's phenomenal. I'm excited about it. Follow me, again, at Deshawn Booker on Twitter and on Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn as well. I'm there. The number is 310-990-0648. Listen, get your tickets to this. I'm calling it the hottest #1 conference in Los Angeles. That is what I'm calling it. And I want you to be there. I want you to be a part of this women so you can step into your divine appointment and really have your transformational moment.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, she's awesome. So you want to connect with her on LinkedIn because she does little vignettes on LinkedIn all the time.
Connect.
And she's and you really actually need to see her in her element.
That's why I'm saying about the
she's
videos.
performing, girl.
I'm there. I'm like, hey, here we go. I'm on.
Yeah, she's just phenomenal. Now, I don't know if I've ever gotten anything when you do a performance? Have you done any?
The next performance, Meet in the Ladies Room, the play, is coming back in 2019.
Okay,
Yes,
fantastic. Then
yes,
I want to
yes,
make
yes.
sure
Please.
that I am there in the audience.
And guess who I've auditioned personally, Miss Dawn Strozier.
Yeah, that's
Well,
my
you
girl.
got two of you together. It's gonna be
now
phenomenal.
Dawn is actually the MC for my for the conference.
Oh,
But
yeah.
in the play with the same name, Meeting in the Ladies Room, I'm having her to take my place in the play.
Oh yeah.
So you know, Dawn is she's one of our special co-hosts
Yes,
here
yes,
on the show,
yes.
and she's phenomenal. I actually watched you and her when you guys
Oh,
had
you
Angel,
did?
and when she was singing "Jesus Loves Me," and your face was, because I've heard it many times.
Yeah.
Your face was like, I could never do that. I was on the floor. So you know, he's like a recording artist himself. He's going,
Okay.
I could never do that.
Dawn is
Dawn is
amazing.
a phenomenal person.
Right.
Oh,
right.
we got a phone call. Let's go ahead and see who this is. Hello, caller. Say your name and where you're calling from.
Karen Robertson.
Hello, Karen Robertson. How are you?
I'm great. I was just calling to just say how excited I am for Deshaun A. Booker to be doing one of the most anticipated conferences of 2018, the Meeting in the Ladies Room.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yes.
Have you been to one of those meetings before?
Well, you know what? I'm a part of the original Meeting in the Ladies Room.
Oh,
We got celebrities. We got celebrities
Yes.
on the phone
Miss
right
Karen
now.
Robertson,
Yeah,
actress,
Miss
honey.
Robertson. Yeah, she's out there doing her thing.
Yes.
Well,
Hi,
welcome to the
Karen.
Business Zone. We really appreciate this. Thank you so much.
Yes. And I just want to say that I'm just really excited. So if you are in the Los Angeles area, please come out and support this life-changing event. I promise you will not be the
That's
same way that
right.
you left. I am a part of, I will be ministering in song, and I'm just encouraging every woman out there that is listening, please come out and let your life be changed. I promise you will not leave the same way you
Excellent. And we're all looking forward to meeting
Yes.
you there too.
And Karen, can I get you on the show?
That's right.
Absolutely. I will come, Crystal, anytime you need me out there. Just let me know. You
Yes.
already know that.
Well,
right.
I'm going to get your information
good,
from
good.
Deshaun, and I'm going to send you. Now, I met Karen, so this is how the world works when you connect and you're with the right people. So back there, right after, goodness gracious, after the Black Lives, there was a whatever thing. With so many of them, we can't even count. But I went to a
Black Money Matters. meeting.
Black Money Matters, and she and Tasha, and Tasha also has a show.
Tasha Bitmore.
Bitmore, and I didn't know who they were.
Okay.
And so I went because I felt from a Recycling Black Dollar standpoint that I could share some wisdom, and that's where we have to be. Those of us that have been out here in the streets as foot soldiers, we have to reach back and share with our young people that are coming up who can carry on the mission and the message.
That's right.
So I met them there. Did not know that she knew Deshaun until I went to a birthday party of Deshaun. I went, wait a minute, I know you. I met you. So the world is small, and that's why we should work together.
That's right.
Because we already know each other. We're already supporting each other. We just need to do it in this environment.
Definitely.
That's right. Let's
Well,
just
Karen,
do
we're
it.
certainly looking forward to seeing you at the show. Meeting in the ladies' room, right?
Yes, Meeting in the
That's
Ladies
right.
Room.
And we're going to get Karen on the show in the next
And
month.
we're going to
or so.
get you on the show soon, okay?
I would love to come. And Crystal, thank you so much. Before I leave, I do want to thank you so much for coming and dropping that knowledge at that Black Money Matters meeting. You are just a phenomenal woman, moving and shaking in the community, and that's exactly who I like to be around. Women like yourself, women like Deshaun,
That's
people
right.
that are truly making a difference in the world. And I just love you ladies so much. Have a rest of a great show, and I'll see you all on August 25th at the Meeting in the Ladies Room conference. You guys be blessed.
All
Thank
right,
you so
thank
much,
you.
Karen.
Thank you.
Have a
Thank you
good
for
one.
coming out.
Okay,
Thank you for calling. Well, girl, I think you feel better
Look
now.
at that.
don't you?
Yes. I didn't been to the doctor's office, honey. I came in here and got my prescription filled. This is just a
You've been
phenomenon.
authenticated.
I've been authenticated.
Well, we're so happy to know that.
We're at the bottom of the hour right now,
Okay,
and we
thank
definitely
you.
want to thank Deshawn for coming
Thank
here.
you.
This is great. I learned a lot from what you're presenting here
Yes,
today.
thank you.
And if I can make it on the 25th to the meeting in the ladies' room,
That's
I want to
right.
be there to see what it's about.
I'm going to be there. I'm coming out, and then I'm leaving for in-town stuff. Stay with my girlfriend.
Oh.
I'm going to put off tennis.
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
Well, thank you so much, and welcome. We really appreciate you here at the Business Zone. And we're going to go ahead and switch over to our next guest right now on the show. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Gilbert. Absolutely.
So you're listening to the Business Zone with
Crystal
and Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic. Take a break.
Are you contract ready? Are you bank loan ready? So I want to know how business ready you guys are. Part of what we want to do is to match you up with contract providers in Vegas, the casinos.
We put together this training for the contractors in Las Vegas to assist them in becoming business ready.
You know, when you first start a small business, the thing you're the shortest on is resources. So the association is actually providing the training free.
Now, Buchanan Associates, they're very well known throughout the U.S., mainly out of the California region, but they have produced so many successful companies that we felt if we brought them here to train our people, that it would allow for that growth because we have so many public works type projects, stadiums that are going to be built slated between now and the next 2 years, prepared to be able to do that work.
The Business Zone with
Crystal
and Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic. And Crystal, who do we have in the studios here with us today?
We have this is community legend right over here, Reverend Clarence, and I don't ever pronounce the middle name.
Eziokwu.
Eziokwu Washington. And Mr. Washington here, he is Mr. Lemert. If you're looking for him, that's where you find him.
Mr.
Just walk up
Lemert.
and down in Lemert. He is a woke, conscious brother.
All right.
And he is all about the people. And the people here on this continent. And then also the people in Africa. And I hear you just got back from Haiti.
That is correct.
And so he is really doing the work. This is the guy that when we talk about action, he's doing action.
That's what we're talking about.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So welcome. And I have been trying to get him on the show for a while. And so I was over at Hot and Cool yesterday. And he says, when can I be on the show? Tomorrow. You come. And he's right across the street. Can you just walk across the street? Come on in. So we got room for you tomorrow.
Well, welcome to the Business Zone,
So
sir.
tell us about
Appreciate
you and tell us about what's going on in our community, why it's so important that we maintain our claim on Lemert, and why we need to rise up and do what we need to do, and the things that you find that we should be doing in order to become more impactful.
That's more than a mouthful.
Any one of those questions you can tackle.
I won't go into a lot of pontification, but what I will say that my background is I'm a retired engineer working here in this country and also out of Rome, Italy, and also Geneva as a system design engineer, and was providing education for about 11 years in 122 different school districts with 106 employees, and that was an administrative change, and so we had to let 106 employees go because schools got full autonomy on the programs that was available. But we have not stopped. We're moving, transitioning our system and bringing new technology in, and I'm a person that believes that I get tired of the metaphor, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and difficult when you don't have boots. And before I do this, let me say happy Marcus Garvey Day today.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes.
Thank you.
We did our little
Appreciate
clip of Marcus Garvey today.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Yes, and so we're actually moving to create a learning environment right in Limerick Park. We're actually creating our own. I'm, like I said, retired engineer. We have folks like AT&T, Bell Labs, and other folks that are helping us to fulfill this particular goal and dream. As far as I can see, we as a community, we have a lot to do, a lot to go. And again, speaking to our community, those that are XY generation and also the millennials and also the Z generation, the new generation is the Z generation. That's between 20 and below.
Oh, okay.
That's a different generation than
That's
the millennials, the Z generation. And understanding what the millennials are saying, and what we as elders understand that is a different perspective from what our perspective, because I look at it this way. When I was that age, you think about Angela, 19, and they have respect for their elders, but they created a whole sense of consciousness and brought the throes of black consciousness and reorientation of who we are as a people. And subsequently, over the years, we've become more de-enculturated. We've become more assimilated, and that we lost some of the basics to the point we don't even speak to one another no longer. And those traditional African values, people say the Southern values, but the roots out of Africa. And it's always been family. And we've become so ordained into the Eurocentric way of thinking. We've become, that's how we are. That's how people are. Some people are. I'm going to say all. And the fact that those want to remain conscious, and I get so agitated when you start speaking from that perspective. People say, well, that's a black thing. Well, as far as I know, my ancestors come from Africa, so it has to be a collective thing. And matter of fact, all humanity comes from Africa with the desensitization and mutation of Europeans, which is the evolvement of mutated Africans. So that's what I won't get into that. How do we maintain our collectiveness? How do we build something that's been defined since our work forces that we're forced to be over the years, and again coming off plantation and start suffering from plantational negritude, and a lot of folks still suffer from that today. And so how do we shift that paradigm of thought? And how do we say, in thinking not only in the African mindset, but outside the European mindset? And if you look at the philosopher, the French philosopher Descartes, who says, I think, therefore I am. A lot of folks like to quote that, and I think that's great. Who understood who he was. But yet and still, where did that come from? And history tells us that Amenemope, our great African philosopher, says that I am because we are, therefore I am, speaks in a collective perspective. Eurocentric, singular. African, collective. So excuse me, been running my mouth before I got here. So those are fundamental things we go back to be the best we can be. Look in terms of what the deficiencies are, and let the millennials know that there's a source of beginning. You weren't there during the movement. You didn't have to. So you come into a form of entitlement now. So understand, you see things, let's take it and solve it right now. But you can't say, I want to bake a cake and don't have no baking powder or cake mix and say, I'm going to make it from scratch. What type of cake you're going to make? These are ingredients to make a cake. So the mindset would be, let's go back into the origin of thought, the origin of how we were amongst ourselves, how we should also continue teaching that. And I speak to everyone, and I look to see how people respond, and I like people look at me and don't know who I am, and okay, fine. You may think me of a weed smoking Rastafarian, fine. I really don't care
until you open your mouth.
Yes, because I've experienced that globally. You know, in terms of people, what do you do? Are you an athlete or are you a musician? And I asked the last retarded person, a moron that I spoke to, asked me, "Are you a musician or a athlete?" And I said, "Why would you answer the question, what basketball team did Obama play on that constituted me president?" I don't deal with that degree of morality. And you know, so the whole point being the message to the community, the word I like to use instead of regentification is, looking at Leimert Park, it's an evolution. It's a regeneration in terms of where we are. Mm-hmm. If we look at the time when Horace Tapscott and Fifth Street Dicks were around, you had music, you had commonalities, people coming together. It was like a cultural center. Mm-hmm. And as time went on, you lost that. So Fifth Street Dicks went on, Horace Tapscott's an ancestor. But look what we have in place today. Yeah. You know, we have Brian Bay, who had African Museum. He's gone. But what do we have today? You have Barbara Morrison's museum, okay. Mm-hmm. We have Barbara Morrison Performing Arts. Mm-hmm. You have the World Stages across the street, and so it's becoming eclectic in terms of younger folks utilizing the space. Yeah. So it's becoming a new place for new faces, and so I welcome anybody. But I'm still Afrocentric. I will be to the day I take my last breath. Right. Everyone is welcome, and again, our presence, making sure that this has to be a cultural anchor. Mm-hmm. In order to do that, we need to come out and support activities that takes place here in Leimert Park, and those that put on events. Come out and come from up the hills and come down and understand this. For us to maintain it, we have to hold on to it and show presence. You can't expect to have something and 10 people show.
So have you met the owners of Hot and Cool? Have you met those guys?
Oh, they're right next door to me, sir. Oh, okay. We partner at different levels. Okay. Matter of fact, the technology we're putting in my office is a smart board, and we're actually putting one into Hot and Cold. That's going to be a homework center, we're tying it to major universities across the country. So that's a place where technology in school will be housed, and also reteaching culture. Yeah. And so that's what we're working. I know both Anthony and
the next time I come to Leimert Park, I want to come visit you because I've been to their place. I kind of like the layout, the setup. I want to see your facility, how it is. And
well, sir, if sometimes when we're looking for paint and you don't need paint, you walk right past the paint store and you say, "Oh, I need paint." There's a paint store.
Yeah, so if you literally right next door. In fact, most of the time you can see them outside on your way into Hot and Cool.
I think I may have met you 2 weeks ago. There were 4 gentlemen sitting in front of your building right
Yes,
there.
You'd be surprised that a scholar sit down and we start pontificating and having conversation, And it's something that, look at Harlem back in the day when people sit down and engage in conversation. Yeah. I mean, substantive conversation. Yeah. I don't care about you taking the basketball to the hoop, running field to field. I'm in athletics, but not to the point. That's my main focus of discussion. Right. If we can't talk about economics empowerment, and education, then find some other folks and sit down and talk about, your favorite sport that you ain't made a dime off of, and used to, you're penny poor and don't have no idea of growth, you see. And so how do we teach the concept of, when I would interview children, what do you want to be? I want to be a basketball player, and I want to be an athlete. I said, well, who is your model? You can't spell basketball, but you're big as a basketball, and you can't dribble a basketball. You want to be a basketball star. And your parents want to live through their life through you. So why can't you study somebody like a Paul Robeson? And we have that discussion. Yeah. So that's how, let's create that imagery and work that imagery. Right. And then have that discussion. Yeah. And we got to stop living the lives we want through our children in terms of, he's going to be the athlete. And, what angst me is the fact, and I could speak from this point of agitation, just last summer, we do technology like some engineer. We had some basically AR, VR STEM classes and held it for 3 weeks. And we had 6th graders all the way to 9th graders, about 15, 18 students, and very powerful. So we decided, well, this is great. Let's take it to the next level. And so my colleague said, well, let's offer a summer program. And I said, that's fine. What does that look like? And what would it entail? Well, let's bring it from the 6th grade to the 12th grade. And let's have it every day from 9 to 2 and advertise it, and we'll charge maybe $450, all summer and put it out there. Yeah. And people were calling and, well, I got a 5th grader. I'm stubborn. I'm old school. Well, this for 6th grade. And, so it went on to about 3-4 days before. And I said, I have no 5th graders. So one parent called and, what's the program like? I said, well, you drop the child off at 9 o'clock. We actually have, lunch. We'll feed them, and they'll have exercises. And it's like school, but it's fun school, right? And they'll learn science and applied science and apply it to their lives today, making VR glasses, those type of things, and teaching the physics and science behind that. And the parent had enough gall to say, well, I want to drop my child off at 8 o'clock and pick him up at 6. I said, I'm not running a daycare center.
Wow.
But my other son is going to a, don't get me wrong, football camp. How much you paying? $150 a week. I said, oh, my God. And for how long? And you're saying that my little $35 a week or $40 a week for the summer comes at $450? and you don't want to pay... I don't understand it. But, it helped me. So after the program ended, we received a lot of calls. Well, we heard that you have a summer program. Our summer camps are over. Oh, so you had your child play ball. And there's nothing wrong with keeping them in shape because we are, as a people, and we are a people, we have become, and I go back to my story, the sickest people. Yeah. We used to be the strongest people, And so if they were to, tomorrow, to say we're going to announce slavery again, they look for some new Negroes because we can't handle it.
We had your other, you wouldn't qualify. and he...
Yeah, I'm come straight raw, and people like to hear that,
Yeah, and that's absolutely true. But, it's kind of interesting. We do a business camp in the summertime as well, and so we need to talk about collaborating. Right. So ours, we did 2 sessions, 3 weeks, did it in collaboration with the Urban League. And so we taught the kids how... they developed a business, and then they created a business plan.
Oh, wow.
And then they pitched the business plan, and then they won money.
Oh, good, good.
And we had graduation, so we had 25 kids in each class.
Oh, wow.
And so now what's coming out of that is we're going to start an entrepreneurial club. Okay. And that club is going to go on throughout the year. Okay. And then we'll round up again. And those kids are coming from the summer camp. Okay. And then in next year in June, we'll be starting a couple months from now to recruit for our next summer.
I see.
So we could probably work out some of your kids because I think that's where we have to do. We have to actually lead the kids to the water.
That's right. That's right.
And the parents. And we, too, kept the kids all day. Now, what we did was we raised money so that the program was literally free to the kids. Okay. And we raised about $85,000 to support those 2 programs. But I would like to see, and this is where my vision and goal is, I'd like to see us create a school like a Marcus Garvey, but it's all about entrepreneurship. And it should start at the age of 5, so kindergarten all the way up to 18. And they're getting their academics, but they're applying those academics to actually running a business, where they actually start businesses and start generating income or generating revenues, because that will send them to college.
Right, and what we're also doing too within that rubric of the office where we're located, we're moving toward the certification process. And if we look at certification, we're talking about A+, red hat, black hat type of entrepreneur. Opportunities. A person that's a black hat earns up to $200,000 to $300,000 a year.
And see, with them learning at that age, it's going to be great. Because a lot of us learn about that when we're much older, in our 20s, 30s, 40s. So learning at the 15, 16.
No,
our kids started
kindergarten. Right?
We did for the school would be 5 from kindergarten on up, because they're amazing.
Definitely. If you notice, most children today, especially the younger generation, they are technology proficient.
Oh, yes.
So
yes.
that's,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
I'm 74 and and looking at some of these, you know, grandparents, could you do this for me? Could you program this for Grandpa? You know, I'm thinking, I don't say that, no, but, you know, some people do that and because of the lack of understanding of technology.
Yeah.
But I do have to take a moment to say, number one, I thank the Urban League for all they moved they disconnected their server farm. And we added it to our collection. So guess what? If you talk to anybody in the clouds, we got clouds coming.
Right.
And actually, we're going to actually working once we get the hot and cold once they're established, and get our classes established for the community.
Yeah.
And we also have a relationship with Collins Academy, because you go on Collins Academy right now, it's like one-on-one type of training, but we actually got Collins Academy, so we can create a school systems through Collins Academy. So we're looking at different methodologies and different ways of enculturating and bringing knowledge of self and also bringing understanding of what it is to be an entrepreneur. And the difference between a businessman and a businessman. We have a lot of businessmen and not businessmen, you know.
Right, exactly.
And so I got into a conversation when someone had stated before, a lot of the merchants aren't receiving money because of the closure on Crenshaw. And people are up in arms, thanks to Tony Muhammad and South Bay Chamber working. And so the question being that a lot of our folks we're not ready. So if I'm going to give you money, and I says, in order for me to give you money, bring me your books. Let me see what profit you had prior to this inconvenience, and then we'll pay your rent for the next how long we're going to be closed off.
See, that's the part that I advocate, readiness.
There you go. So I can't blame the folks that weren't eligible because they had, you know, when's the last time you filed taxes? You know, Brother Leroy's sick and he's on vacation. How long have you been on vacation? 6 months? Wait a minute. 6 years?
6 years.
And I got so much pushback because you're absolutely right. We can no longer continue to operate at a substandard and expect someone to give you a handout. Everyone needs to be bringing their A game so that you will be prepared. So when this happens, so technically we knew, and this is, you know, my issue was, we all knew that this train was coming 20 years ago, right? The very first time they put that, it was right there on was it Vernon or King? We're at Arlington. And
King,
King, right. They had that whole, and so I was camping, and this guy was an engineer, and he was working on that. I said, "What is that?" He says, "They're getting ready for the train." So that was 20-something years ago. And but our businesses, even if they didn't do it 20 years ago, 5 years ago, when the what was the thing that came down the middle of Crenshaw? The
Red line?
No, the space shuttle. Remember when it came down Crenshaw?
Cut all the trees down.
And they cut down the trees, and I was standing there with a lady, and she goes, "This is horrible. They're cutting down the trees to allow for this shuttle to come down." I said, "You do realize they're getting ready to tear up the street in a couple of years to put a metro?" And she goes like, "What? They're going to do what?"
Right in
I was
her
like,
backyard, and she doesn't even know.
"Whoa, they're going to come right on up the street, lady."
Let me take you back in time. People forget. When they first built the Bonaventure, go back in time now, when they built their hotel Bonaventure, they put up a bond and said, we want a high rail system that runs from the Bonaventure to LAX.
Wow, so I wasn't
and we
even
still,
in the state.
and we were still paying for that, all right? And where's that high rail? Now they're talking about putting a short rail up, and it's going to cost more money. And if you look at what's going on geographically, let's look at Jefferson. You know, when they put in the blue line, number one, they didn't do a complete assessment. The senior engineer that warned them about what's going to happen is happening because the vibrations, the homes are losing their structure. They're taking over eminent domain, and some of those houses will be replaced. And take me to another level. That's coming down Crenshaw, right on the asphalt line, 6 stories down, and Crenshaw is sinking Because it's built on, the water table is rising. That's why they're pumping water out. People don't realize what's happening, but you never hear about that. You see, so but if you even come to my office and you walk down and look, and you can see the separation. The street is coming down. So the question becomes, why would you put something there? Number one, if you knew long term with the speed of the trains, you're going to have more vibrations. You're going to have more weakened structure. Because I'm no engineer. I'm not going into all that.
So is that why there's so many big trucks up and down in Leimert? Because I couldn't figure out how come they were over in Leimert.
Well, because again, that's the dumping site. They load up, 35-ton truck, mover coming through, cracking up the cement and stuff. Matter of fact, they just replaced. Well, the Leimert Degnan is a unique place. Those are solid concrete blocks that they built in, so they just can't just chop that up, and they have to go back and replace it, and it can be cost prohibitive, but it's still coming at some point in time.
Right.
And the point is, I hate to say it, that most black folks, we need to understand why we got to go out, come together, protest, with no next step plan. Yeah. That's what aggravates me, what agitates me. You come in, we have candlelight vigils, and everybody cry and light candles and blow out the candle and come back when something else happens. My question would be, where's the next step? We stop organizing. Yeah. We stopped coming together, and since a lot of the folks got on the NGOs, churches getting their money, so they didn't care about us, and because the preachers and they pimping us, still pimping us. I'm going on the path. But anyway, the notion of if you live near a school, then it's still in your community. We don't take time to go to make sure that they're teaching what we want them to teach. Right. You talk to parents, well, I got this, I got that. Wait a minute, your child's in school. But we complain when other communities are demanding. Yeah. And we don't. Until little Leroy is kicked out, and why is he kicked out? And, so it's a whole different story. But the notion that we've lost our community effort coming together for education, economics, and speaking up for our rights. We don't do that.
That's true.
It's very weak.
That's true.
And so the point be, how do you teach a child? Yeah. If you look at how, because I read the Warrior Advocate every day, number one, you take a child to a meeting with you. Yeah. Let the child listen to how City Hall operates. Take a child to a meeting. Let the child see how you conduct yourselves in a business manner. Right. Take a child to see, oh, wow, this is parliamentary procedure. So that child is learning, so that as that child gets older, then I know parliamentary procedures. Right. I understand. I've been introduced that to as a young child. Right. My father taking me to stuff when I was coming up. I used to get angry. Wow, I want to have kids and stuff. No, you need a Negro. You're going to come, fear the word of the belt,
Right, exactly.
But that's something we don't even teach civics now.
No.
So people don't have a fundamental civic understanding about politics. Yeah. You see, so other than people are Trumpanian. I heard their conversation about Trump and. But he's a necessary evil. It was a wake-up call.
He's waking people up.
He's waking. Well, the question is, are we really woke yet?
Well, some of us
It may take some a little longer.
Yeah, some a little longer.
The question I have to ask, why move your lounge chair on the Titanic? And that's we need to get off that ship, And so I'll leave that.
So how do you? We got a few more minutes, but how do you feel that how do you think that we could pull together a group of people that have impact in the community, that care about our community, that is action-oriented, because that's different than the ones that's just talking. I'm about action. I can't do the whole talk thing and then nothing comes out of it. So what would you suggest? And myself being the co-director of Recycling Black Dollars, how do we help make that happen? How do the business zone help make that happen?
Let me do it this way, and I have respect, being member and been members of a lot of the organizations, and again, we have financial institutions. So let's look at, you ask a scholarly question, and I'll respond in a pseudo scholarly way, being not finished second grade, but if you believe that.
Okay. All right.
Let's look at this. Okay, now let's look at what we have in terms of entrepreneurial capabilities. Okay, we have Recycling Black Dollars. We have Black Business Association. We got GLAC. we have Crenshaw Chamber, we have South Bay Chamber. These are all business institutions, okay? We say, look, we have a common purpose coming together under business framework. Let us all come together to empower our community. And I got a whole collective there. The collective is now there. And you speak from the framework, we're all fingers in this tributary. So if you take a fist, the thumb becomes the guiding principle, and the fingers are the aspect that constitutes the fifth. The fist. So that's one methodology. What does that look like? It's going to be internal discussion to let people know that this is the whole business body, not the finger or just everybody. Now come and listen to the presentation on let us work with you to be a part of this process. Let us show you that we're coming together as a community because we're still separate with a common purpose. It's not like other communities, You think about it back in the civil rights movement when blacks got out for getting bit by dogs and other things of that nature and establishing. Nobody else wanted to be with us until all of a sudden, out of the black movement, you had La Raza, the Chicano movement, everybody, because nobody was with us at first. And we started getting, and then all of a sudden we recognized we thought we got good for ourselves and ignored everyone else. And then all of a sudden they had Proposition 187, which was going after the Latino community and said, well, you need to be careful. You had Ward Connolly, that lapdog, brought in Proposition 209, which eviscerated a lot of black businesses because they took away affirmative action. So what happened, you actually had what you call, we were asking for 10% of the pie, only 10%. Government contracts would give you 10%. But all of a sudden, 209 says, no, you shouldn't get 10% because now everybody's multicultural and women also are minorities too. So we lost 10%. We only got 0.2%. So everybody else got that little percent of the pie. But we recognized that we didn't continue. We stopped our drive. So you look at a community come in with one communication station, they got 10 or 15. We had 4. We're down to 2. But we're using technology now to have a different form, so we need to continue using this platform to grow. We need to continue to say how we use this more means of communication to spread the word. How do we get a common message out there? Know thyself, as Queen Hatshepsut says, and then finding your purpose. And that's the thing. If you don't know what your purpose is, that's that inner reflection and say, let me find out where my sweet spot is. And ain't sitting down looking at TV and talk about somebody's freaking basketball game. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm not anti-athletic by no means. But I'm saying, my size can dictate. I was a bodybuilder back in the day, but the whole point being, we need to look at where our children are. Where are we not standing up fighting for our children?
And how is that bringing money into our pockets?
Well, they talk about, they were talking about going down to the border, and the children being taken from their families. The people up in arms about that. But what about JHS riding, like taking children out of our homes right now? Nobody's saying a doggone thing about that. My heart goes out to folks who are illegal here, wants to be here. I empathize with them. But my concern is black folks, and I stand up and say, you come into my house, they're violating HIPAA laws, taking children away, it's horrible out there. And nobody has said one friggin' word. But anyway, that's a whole different discussion. So, but at the same time, just let people know, the Waves and Curls are this weekend, Nappywood. They're going to be at Santa Monica, out there from 8 o'clock, actually from 9 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock at night at the Inkwell. People know about the Inkwell. That's where blacks were lived before they were moved out or kicked out.
I didn't even know anything about the Inkwell.
But
I didn't grow up here, so.
But a lot of people ask, if I was to ask you a question, name me 7 black towns right now, starting now, name me 2. Okay.
Right, we know about when there was a couple of them.
There's 65 black towns. Most folks can't name 7. Okay, so leave it at there. Okay, that's right. So
I had to come over the weekend and find out 65 are.
Well, but you know about the Devil's Punch Bowl, right?
Have I heard you talk about the Devil's Punch? Oh, wait a minute. Allenstown is
the black towns up north of Bakersfield. No.
Right.
The Devil's Peach Bowl is Natchez, Mississippi, where when the Union soldiers gathered all the blacks and held them there, and over 20,000 blacks are buried there because they would not let them out of the camp there. That's called the Peach Bowl.
No,
so Natchez, Mississippi. So again, how do we know about ourselves? We can't talk about our horror. But anyway, getting back to economics,
but I think what you're saying is very important, and that there needs to be a conversation where people are podcasts or something.
Yes,
where
yes.
this information is being disseminated and we can hear it, because we can't change if we don't know where we came
That's
from.
right. That's why usually when I do my my live video, when I go live video, I stream it live, and again, hopefully for Labor Day weekend, they're going to ask me to do another stage like 3 years ago.
Oh, at Lamert?
Yes, when I had that stage and had a lot of my colleagues come out and talk to me, had community chat and community chastisement. Okay, so I'll leave that. Okay.
Well, I'm going to come out and hear about the chastisement. Now, when is that going to happen?
Labor Day weekend. You got a spot to my entrepreneurialism. I'm calling everyone to the table about, but Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, to say when you can be out there. Say, let's talk economics, and under the concept of heal, health, education, economics, arts, and leadership. Let's have a discussion about that.
Let's do that.
Rather than buying popcorn, listening to music and some barbecue beef. To my child, this is Labor Day weekend, we're still suffering from labor,
we are suffering from some labor or lack of labor.
There you go, lack of
labor.
I totally agree. I guess we ran over time.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
We definitely appreciate you coming by, and this is very enlightening. And I want us to do a sit down again, Crystal.
Yes.
I tell you, he's the real deal, and he has a lot of information.
Yes.
And they're doing some stuff over at Lamert. In fact, the energy I was in Lamert, I've moved all my meetings that is not going to take place in the Urban League over at Todd and Cool.
Oh, yes,
and
that's
the
right.
vibe is off the chain.
That's right.
I mean, it was like live. I felt like I was in New York or somewhere.
Yes, to get that same similarity.
Right?
Yes,
it was
yes.
feeling like we were making, and
That's
people
right.
were working, and it just felt good. You looked up and down the street, and people looked like you, and nobody was asking you to leave.
That's right.
From the coffee shop.
That's right. That's right.
You could sit there as long as you wanted. So it was pretty cool. So we want to thank you for coming out.
Certainly.
How do they reach you if they want to get some more of these wonderful nuggets of information?
They can come to 4329 Degnan at the Weekend Foundation, right next to S1 Book. And why not suggest this? Go out and buy a book. Please invest in it. Instead of spending $6 for that burger, go buy a book and give it to a child. And they have books on sale there too. So I'm always promoting books and knowledge. And again, because a lot of books are being rewritten, and you start your library today on those authors that are substantial and have created that link. And we need to understand, because if you don't get books, then how can you say we were forced immigrants? They're trying to take the word slavery out, and so not to sound disrespectful, and a lot of folks of faith, but yet they brought us from Africa on the good ship Jesus, and he's waiting on him to come. He ain't coming off Lamert Park when the train stopped. Let me stop now. Let me go out and pay. Let me back on.
So if you guys want to get more of this wonderful nugget and hear him in the real, then you need to pop on over to Lamert Park, and you can find him anytime over there.
You can call me on my
in his
cell.
office or running up and down.
Call me on my cell.
On your cell.
My cell is 310-948-5524. And again, it's 310-948-5524.
Perfect.
I hold everyone sacred, but when you open the subject, it's scholarly discussion. So come with an intellect. Put your feelings aside, okay?
I'm loving that.
Yes, sir.
What I want, when I talk again, what I want to see is how we can integrate the science and technology that you bring to the table in engineering with the economics.
Yes. That's right.
So, Small Biz Pro, we want to thank you for joining us this week. This has been a great show. We had two fantastic guests. Bringing a variety of different perspectives, but it all comes back to one: collaboration and economics. So, Crystal?
I will see you guys next week. We have another great show on the table, so make sure you tune in to the Business Zone next Friday from 3 to 5, live at morrismedialive.com, also live on Facebook and YouTube. So we'll check you out and have a great weekend. Be safe, be conscious, and be woke.
We're out.
We'll see you next week.
Thank you. All right.
Are you contract ready? Are you bank loan ready? So I want to know how business ready you guys are. Part of what we want to do is to match you up with contract providers in Vegas, the casinos.
We put together this training for the contractors in Las Vegas to assist them in becoming business ready.
when you first start a small business, the thing you're the shortest on is resources. So the association is actually providing the training free.
Now, Buchanan and Associates, they're very well known throughout the U.S., mainly out of the California region, but they have produced so many successful companies that we felt if we brought them here to train our people, that it would allow for that growth because we have so many public works type projects, stadiums that are going to be built slated between now and the next 2 years, prepared to be able to do that work.
The Consortium of Health and Military Performance, also known as CHAMP, of the Uniformed Services University of Health and Science, known as USUHS, is conducting a study to understand a possible genetic link between sickle cell trait, known as SCT, and exercise-related events, known as EREs, such as exertional rhabdomyolysis, muscle damage, heat stroke, and or collapse. We are inviting African-American men and women with sickle cell trait and their family members to participate. Participating in the study will require you to complete a health history questionnaire, a form authorizing our study physician to gather health information from you and your healthcare provider, as well as a one-time blood donation. In order to qualify for the study, you must meet the following criteria: be African American, be sickle cell trait positive, be able to read, speak, and understand English, be between the ages of 18 and 80, and currently not being treated for any mental or psychological disorders. Participation is completely voluntary, and your decision will not impact your healthcare. The results for this study are for research purposes only and are not intended to directly benefit any individual for confidentiality reasons. However, the results of this study are intended to help better shape policies and associated health risks affecting the SCT community. Participants may be compensated for their time. To join the study, or if you would like additional information regarding the study, please contact the study team by phone, area code 240-479-9514, or email sctstudy-ggg@usuhs.edu.